Hi everyone. Today we're going to be doing some curve sketching. So we're going to put all the information that we've been working on in calculus together. I'm going to work through two examples, so please read the notes that you have and work on the two examples that I'm talking about today. And at the end of the lesson, you'll have an opportunity to try 6 examples that are in your notes. Those 6 examples will be taken up at the beginning of next class. So let's start here. We have a function. It starts with f of x is equal to x cubed bracket 4 minus x, close bracket. And at first it wants the location of the x and y intercepts. So the thing that you need to ask yourself is what is true when you're looking for the x-intercept and what is true when you're looking for the y-intercept? Well, when you're looking for the x-intercept, you know y is equal to 0. And when you're looking for the y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So take a moment right now and find the x and y intercepts. So you'll notice for the x-intercept, I set y equal to 0, and then I set each individual part equal to 0, so I got x equals 0 and x equals 4. On the y-intercept, I set x equal to 0, and notice here that y comes out to be 0. Part B asks for you to find the derivative. In order to find the derivative first, I need to expand those brackets, so I need to distribute the x cubed, and once I do that, you should be able to all find the derivative. So when I expand, I get 4x cubed minus x to the 4. Take a derivative. And when you take the derivative, you get 12x squared minus 4x cubed. Part C now says determine the critical points and the intervals of increasing or decreasing. So stop for a moment and figure out what does that mean. Well, that means take the derivative, set it equal to 0, factor, and then make your chart. So pause the video, try it yourself, and come back and see if you did okay. So when I factor, I get 4x squared as the common factor and 3 minus x stays in the bracket. That means x equals 0 and x equals 3 are my potential critical points. Now I want to make my chart or my box diagram and figure out where everything is positive or negative. Give that a shot. So your box diagram should look like this. The 0 and the 3 go on the horizontal line. The factors, 4x squared and 3 minus x, go on the left-hand side. Now, pick numbers less than 0, between 0 and 3, and then bigger than 3. So when I do this, I notice that it is positive, positive, and negative. So the graph goes up, it then continues to go up, and then it goes down after 3. So you know that you have a maximum at 3, and that maximum is at 327. And how did I get the 27? Well, I plugged the 3 back into the original equation. I don't have a minimum, but I do have a horizontal point of inflection. And that horizontal point of inflection is at 0, 0. And I took that 0 that I got right here, and I plugged that back into the original. Now, looking at my sign diagram here, I can also figure out where my intervals of increasing are. Here, they're from negative infinity to 0, and they're from 0 to 3. If I look where my intervals of decreasing are, they're from 3 to infinity. For this next example, I'd like to make sure that you're on the same example that I'm on. So it says f of x is equal to 3x to the 4 minus 4x cubed minus 12x squared. In the left box, I'd like you to take the derivative, set it equal to 0, factor, and find the possible critical points. In the right-hand box, I'd like you to make your sign diagram. Once you have all that information, fill out the maximum, the minimum, the intervals of increase, the intervals of decrease, and then put all that information together on the graph below. So take your time, pause the video, try the example, and I'll make it appear a little bit at a time. So step 1 was take the derivative. Step 2, set it equal to 0 and factor. Once I've fully factored, then solve for x. So here, x can be 0, x can be 2, and x can be negative 1. Now, on the right-hand box, I'd like you to draw your diagram. Remember, these numbers here that I'm circling in red, they go on the bottom. And these here that I'm underlining in black go on the left-hand side. So I've got the key information on my diagram. I'm going to pick a number less than -1. I'm going to pick a number between -1 and 0. I'm going to pick a number between 0 and 2. And I'm going to pick a number between 2 and infinity, so bigger than 2. And fill out that diagram. Once I do that, I'm going to work down. So a negative, and a negative make a negative. So this is going down. A negative, and a positive is positive. So it's going up. Two negatives and a positive, again, give me, oh, sorry, this is a positive here. Two positives and a negative give me a negative. So that's going down here. Sorry about that. And three positives give me a positive here. And it's going up. So notice it goes down, and up. So I have 2 minimums and 1 maximum. Now using this sign diagram, fill out the max, the min, the intervals of increasing, and the intervals of decreasing. Check your work. So if I take all the information from my sign diagram, I find out that I have a maximum at 0, 0. I find out that I have a minimum at -1, -5, and another minimum at 2, -32. I can figure out my intervals of increasing and decreasing simply by looking at my diagram. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that information all together into my diagram below. So I've plotted my 3 key points here in the red, and then I'm going to draw the line that connects them all. So notice it goes down, then up, then down, then up. So if I put that information together and I draw my curve, aside from a shaky hand here, this is what it should look like. You can test it out by punching it into your graphing calculator and seeing, does the graphing calculator give you a similar graph? It should. I'd like you to now take an opportunity to try the 6 practice questions that are there for you. I encourage you to take about a page to do so. So similar to what I've done just now. Figure out the derivative, set it equal to 0, factor, make your sign diagram, and then figure out the max, mins, intervals of increase and decrease, and then graph it. So I encourage you to also have some graph paper available. I'll see you again soon. Take care.